We're live.
Good afternoon. It is 2:30 now on March the 24th, 2022. This is a voting session for the House Judiciary Committee. The first bill on the docket is House Bill 1010. Delegate Kipke has given us a letter withdrawing House Bill 1010. Could I have a motion?
Move unfavorable.
Motion for unfavorable
Second.
and a second. All those in favor of the unfavorable motion because it is withdrawn, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Seeing none, the bill is moved unfavorable, withdrawn. Now, we have two Senate bills before us. We'll start with Senate Bill 387. This is what is commonly known as the ghost gun bill. This is an amended version from what was originally introduced. And so what I'm going to ask is I'm going to ask for Delegate Lopez to talk about the differences between what the Senate passed and what we passed in the ghost guns bill. If that's all right, or I can ask Holly to do it. It's up to you.
Sure. Yeah, I have some notes that I'm going to bring up right now.
All right.
Probably the main difference that people will be interested in is the difference in penalty. There was an amendment that was, I think, initially brought up by Senators Carter and also Huff to split up the penalty for possession to be still a misdemeanor. It's less than 2 years, but then the penalty for selling these types of firearms to be increased. And so let me bring up my notes so I can just speak to that specifically. Actually, I have a one pager that I can drop in also and just send to everyone.
That would be fine.
Sure. Sorry, I don't know why this is not coming up so quickly. So there's that. There's also a difference in what happens when you when you want to serialize these firearms. The Senate has a different approach where it's not the same set of information that if it was going to be like the same standards that are applied to federal manufacturers. It's initials, date. It doesn't have the FFL's information on them, although there is a record keeping component. But then also something that came up on the Senate side was the use of the Maryland State Police Voluntary Registry. Some of you might be familiar with this. Basically, it provides an opportunity for people who might not want to serialize their firearm or might be trying to figure out what their options are to put the information in the voluntary Maryland State Police Registry. So that way it's noted, but the firearm itself is not serialized right away. The other thing that people will probably be interested in is that the Senate moved back the grandfather clause date to March. So it's now postponed another 2 months for that part of the enactment.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Delegate Lopez? And let's start with Delegate Eric.
I just have a question on what the final vote in committee and on the floor was on the Senate side.
Can look that up.
Yeah, I don't have that committed to memory. I think it was only Delegate or Senator Castle.
I can't hear her. Can anybody else hear her?
You need to get closer to your microphone, I think.
Is that better?
No.
No.
Just yell.
Is that any better too? I just turned mute on and off.
There you go.
I'll answer if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, it was Senator Castle in the committee, but let's see, on the floor, it was 35-11, and it was Carosa, Castle, Quarterman, Eckert, Edwards, Gallion, Hershey, Jennings, Reedy, Sailing, and Simon Eyre. And it was 35 yeas, 11 nays, and 1 was excused, which was Hester.
Okay, so there was a couple of Republicans who actually voted for this version of the bill on the floor. I see. Okay.
That is correct.
The other thing to note is that there's now the need for, I'm trying to think of the specific legal
You're
term
coming
for
in
someone
still
here before
really
time.
hard to hear. I'm not sure why.
Is that any better? I promise I
No.
didn't touch anything weird.
You're just gonna have to speak up as loudly as you can.
Okay, everybody, I'm using my teacher voice. Okay. So someone a lawyer on the committee will probably correct me in how I'm saying this, but there's also a need for mens rea when it comes to possession that's on the Senate side. So basically it has to be proven that someone is knowingly breaking the law by having one of these, as opposed to just inheriting their great granddaddy's, AR-15 or something.
They knowingly possess a ghost gun. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And
Okay.
if people are interested, I can circulate this one pager, which is technically 4 pages because I'm an overachiever, but
We'll go
it's there.
ahead and you can do that, but there's let's
Move
do this.
favorable.
Motion for a favorable. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, that's fine. So we'll keep going with discussion. Delegate Davis, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have a question about the mens rea. How do you unknowingly possess a ghost gun? An unserialized gun?
That is kind of my reaction. I'm not sure that you could unknowingly possess a ghost gun, but I'm not so sure about that. Delegate Erican may have an answer, but
I do, in fact, have an
But,
answer. So how it could happen is that you did not know that we passed this law. Many people don't follow the great General Assembly. I know it's shocking to all of us here, but they may not even know that this becomes a policy where you can all of a sudden not have these guns, since we've been having them for the last 300 years. So I think that's pretty much how you could know. You would not know that it was a crime for you to have a gun that's been legal for you to have for the existence of the country.
not sure how far that argument would go in court, but we'll find out, I suppose. Delegate Williams, then Delegate Davis.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, Delegate Erican. I thought ignorance of the law is not a defense, number one.
That's
And
correct.
then number two, if I get arrested with a ghost gun, all I gotta say to the judge is, Your Honor, I ain't know I had a ghost gun and I'm gone.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds like the gist of what this does. I mean, if I was a criminal, I would just say I didn't know it was a ghost gun every day, every time I go into court.
It would only work the first time, obviously.
I don't think it would
But yeah,
work
but
the
see,
first
you
time.
you don't know what judge you're gonna get. So I get arrested on day one, I get Judge A, I get arrested next month, I get Judge B. They might not know what was in the case of the previous case. Like this, I don't know, this just, okay, that's all I have to say. Mr. Chair.
Look, I think that, well, I'm gonna let other people talk, but yeah, if this is one of these things that I think got added, but I don't think has a meaningful application to this area of the law. But Delegate McComas.
You're on mute, Sue.
Yeah, I could see a scenario where, let's say, a parent passes away and the family inherits, boxes of different things. And because this doesn't really look like a gun, and it's just in a box of all kinds of different stuff, and nobody's, they pack it up, they sell the house, they never get around to looking at the box. And then, I mean, it could happen. Or you see people with their car stuffed with stuff to the brim, they're what do I want to call it? They're savers, let's say. They don't throw anything away. I mean, it can happen because if everybody's probably seen a car on the street that has all kinds of plastic bags, and they're living out of it or something. So I mean, I think it's possible that they would not know they necessarily had a ghost gun, or that they had a gun at all, really. Because I mean, these things are not real big. So it's just my thought.
Are there further questions regarding the bill? There is a motion for a favorable in a second. All right. Seeing none, we'll go forward with a roll call. The Vice Chair,
Yes.
Shoemaker,
No.
Anderson,
Yes.
Erican,
No.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Cardin,
Yes.
Cox,
No.
Crutchfield, Crutchfield,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Grammer,
No.
Howell,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Thank you.
Lopez,
Anything else?
Yes.
McComas,
No.
Munoz,
No.
Shetty,
Yes.
Tolles,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
13 to 6. All right, the bill motion is adopted and the bill will go to the floor with a favor. So now we're going to Senate Bill 691. Senate Bill 691 is the now amended Juvenile Justice Reform Council recommendations. We had a hearing on this bill earlier this afternoon where the differences in between what we passed originally and what passed the Senate were laid out. The bill in the Senate,
The amendment.
well, there are no amendments, so this would be a different kind of
Move the
motion.
bill.
The bill.
All right, there's a motion and a second, so we're on the favor.
Can't even finish the thought. Okay, yeah.
That's great, Delegate Tolles. Sounds awesome. All right.
Hey, you can't finish your thought before they get the motion out.
I got it. That's fine.
Okay. Okay.
All right. We'll go to questions and discussion on Senate Bill 691. Delegate Erican.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we're not making any further changes from the Senate version, I understand.
That's correct. This is a straight favorable motion.
Okay, I don't feel like I've gotten really enough time to look at it. I'd like to use my hold on this bill.
That's fine. I mean, I'm fine coming back tomorrow. If people have potential amendments, that's fine. I'd ask you to turn them into the committee office by, let's just say by noon tomorrow. I'll say this, that the bill was pretty significantly changed in some ways, and I don't think in the direction of people who were advocating for the bill. I think that moved, and I don't know if Delegate Crutchfield wants to agree with that or not. I think it was moving more in the direction of people who had concerns of the bill. Having said that, it passed the Senate with 29. It was 29 to 17. So if people have questions or anything else that they're concerned about with regard to the bill, we can you can refer them to me and we'll try to answer them. But if you've got an amendment, then go ahead, send it in by noon tomorrow. All right. With that, that's what we have for today. We will be back tomorrow at some point. My suspicion at the moment is perhaps immediately after the session tomorrow. But please watch emails. And for those watching us, you can watch the General Assembly website. We'll be posting when we're going to be voting tomorrow. Just as soon as we can. We need to get some guidance for how long session will go tomorrow. So with that, that concludes the voting session for the House Judiciary Committee. And we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.